Back up here this Friday evening, but I'm here to talk to you about Saturday's football, as we have a plethora of football games to go over, as it is finally here. We are bowling for dollars. Now, I always tell my clients, don't worry about what shape the ball is. If you're a syndicate bettor, you don't care whether it's an oblong shape pigskin brown ball, whether it's a black and white round ball. You don't care whether it's football or whether it's football. What you care about is just making money. But we know better. This time of year, we're bowling for dollars. As the bowl bonanza begins, we go straight from tomorrow all the way to January 2nd into the new year. So the question is, are you going to be a degenerate gambler, or are you going to be a winning sports trader? I've said it all year long. I've said it for the last 27 years. You have to pick and choose your spots. Are you going to play every game just because it's on TV, or are you going to play where you have an edge? My sources that I deal with, they've been spotting and working on these matchups for weeks. The lines have been set on these games. These teams have had many weeks off, where some of them are sitting there not caring because they feel slighted. They didn't get the right bowl game. Some teams are just looking at this as a vacation, where some of these kids, they're never going to go to the pros, and they're just looking at it as a free vacation to an exotic locale. The bottom line is this. You have to understand these games don't mean much to a lot of these players. They mean a lot to a lot of these players. And it's our job to find out the whys and the hows. And when the line is set on the game, is it an accurate line or is it not? Because in the end, what you're doing is you're simply betting a number. Don't believe me? Yesterday our crew came in on Cleveland State plus 16 and a half. Depending upon whether you had that game early, you pushed. If you had that game late, you won. Every single day I can give you an instance in college basketball or in the NBA where a game settles around or on the number. Unless you're betting the NHL or MLB, as you guys know, one of my favorite sports, the bottom line is with the absence of a money line bet, you're simply betting a number. You're not betting your favorite team because your team can win. But the question is, will they cover? So going into the new year, the question is, are you going to close this one out, making it a December to remember? Your early updates are as follows. Tomorrow, we have a rare two-pack in the NFL. San Diego opens up as a 1-point dog at San Francisco with this inter-California matchup. The line opened at 1-41, and it is staying holding at the 1-41. I'll call this game, for a lack of a better term, a pick'em matchup. Yesterday, if you guys watched the end of that Jacksonville game, it was all over but the shout until the end of the game when they punted the ball. And for you total bettors, you were sitting on your hands and knees whether you had the over or the under, as the NFL, for somehow, some way, always manages to keep it interesting depending upon whether you're on the favorite or the dog or on the side or on the total, regardless of how meaningless the game is. Philadelphia travels to my Washington Redskins right up the street from my Baltimore office, and the line opened up at 7.5 over the key number of 7 and 50.5, and we're staying flat on 7.5 and 50.5. Now, if we move over to college football Saturday, we have Nevada at Lafayette, the New Orleans, or as we like to say, the New Orleans Bowl. The line opened up at 1-62. The line is now 1.5 and 63. We go over to the New Mexico Bowl in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as UTEP takes on Utah State. The line opened up at 44.5 and 10. The line has now gone down on the total, a half a point, but still no real major line movement. And my favorite, the Las Vegas Bowl. I am not going to be attending the game at Sam Boyd Stadium, much to the request of my business partners in Las Vegas running my syndicate crew, saying, Johnny, get on the plane, come on out. I said, no, 2 weeks early, got to stay here and get the job done on the East Coast side. I did my due diligence at the Army-Navy matchup. I'll be over there. Major line move. As we got the Don Best app running in the background on a soccer game of all things, we'll close that out right now. The Major line move. the Las Vegas Bowl, Utah, Colorado State. The line opened up at 2.5 and 58. The line is now 2.5 and 57.5. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Western Michigan playing Air Force on the Blue Field, Boise, Idaho, the famous Blue Field. The line opened up at 1.5 and 57.5. The line is now 1 and 58. As the early money is coming in on Air Force and the over, a slight half-point drop on the dog, and a little pump up on the over. And the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, Alabama, the Crampton Bowl at South Alabama and Bowling Green. This game will be featured at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Opened up at 2.5 and 53.5. No major movement. And then we top it off with Illinois State and New Hampshire in the FCS playoffs, where the opening number is not posted anywhere. And then we skip over to the Division II game, Sporting Park, Kansas City, Colorado State, Minnesota State. No line on that game as well. So bottom line, guys, is we get the Don Best screen, whether it's on the big screens or whether it's on the little iPhone. It didn't feel like firing up this beast on a Friday evening. I'll worry about that on Saturday morning. Bottom line, guys, is simple. We got action all day tomorrow. Nevada, Lafayette, Utah, UTEP, Utah State, Utah, Colorado State, Western Michigan Air Force, and South Alabama Bowling Green, plus the 2 NFL games. And as you hear, we got the Steam plays blowing through my phone as it is 5:35 Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast, 2:35 on the West Coast. And we'll be back with you on Saturday. As always, you can reach me at my international numbers across the pond in the UK, down below in the AU, and I will be in attendance at the coveted, freezing Chicago Blackhawks Washington Capitals game on January 1st. Talk to you soon.